Namaste. My name is Henry Judicay. I'm a French-Canadian therapist, and I come to you today as the director of a non-profit Canadian organization called Om Illumination. You can find out more information about our non-profit at omillumination.com. Our website is presently promoting a movie about self-inquiry, the process recommended by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi to experience self-realization. And one of the teachers in this movie is Reinhard Jung. Reinhard is now 68-year-old. I'm 70-year-old. And we found out that we have similar paths. He discovered transcendental meditation when he was 18-year-old, when he was having an existential crisis. I discovered the Hare Krishna movement when I was 18-year-old and having an existential crisis. Reinhard became a transcendental meditation teacher, and I became one of the world leaders in the Hare Krishna movement. I actually learned about transcendental meditation when I became friends with George Harrison from the Beatles. Here you see a picture of me and George in Paris in 1970. He told me how transcendental meditation was crucial for his own spiritual development. Eventually, Reinhard left the TM movement because he was not happy with the missionary activities of TM. And I left the Hare Krishna movement because I was really not happy about the missionary movement that eventually attracted all kind of shady character in the Hare Krishna movement. I received Shaktipad from Swami Muktananda, and then an important initiation into the Kriya Yoga process with Ariyadananda Swami, who was a direct disciple of Sri Yukteswar. Gradually, Reinhard became attracted to the teaching of Ramana Maharshi, and he became a student in the 90s of Annamalai Swami, who was one of the main disciples of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Here you see Reinhard sitting with Annamalai Swami. We will have to do a longer video to explain the work and the glories of Annamalai Swami. At this time, Reinhard and me are both retired and continue to do our best to inform the public about self-realization. Reinhard is, in my opinion, one of the topmost teacher of self-inquiry in the world right now, and you can get in touch with him at his website, reinhardjung.com. Today we continue the interview that I had a few days ago with Reinhard, focusing on various aspects of self-inquiry, although I was very interested to find out what Reinhard had to say about teachers that say that you have to kill the mind. Please encourage our non-profit organization by renting this movie. We are now preparing another movie on Sri Ramana Maharshi, focusing on the various stories about his life and teaching that I film in various sacred spots on the sacred mountain of Arunachala in 2011 and 2014.
So a mind that is merely watching, the ego strengthens itself by reacting, fighting, emotionally. So when you begin to watch, you can even now see if you put your attention on something and rest it there, even if it's a mantra. The mind relaxes and recedes into this witnessing mode very naturally. It's nothing, separate. It's a quality of mind that is quiet, that is malleable. And this kind of state is easily being taken in by truth. It can sink into the heart, Ramana would say.
If we are at a stage where we can witness the mind, the one that is witnessing, that's not the self yet, right?
No, that's not the self, but it's a purer state of mind, and it's easily taken in when it's asking, when this witness turns round. If we express it this way, usually our mind is like a lamp shining outwardly.
Yeah.
Now, through this process of becoming quiet yet attentive, Maharshi used to say restful alertness. There's a nice expression for that. Mm-hmm. So then anyway, the mind expands, it gets spacious, it gets subtle, it gets blissful. If this mind turns round instead of shining the attention outwardly and becomes interested, what am I? Then it can be taken in by truth.
There is some statement by Mr. Godman in my interviews where he repeatedly say, you have to kill the mind, right? You have to kill the mind. And that's kind of scary for the common person like me,
That's right. This is not a very fortunate expression, because we cannot kill something that does not really exist. See, the examples the great teachers use a mirage. You know what a mirage is in the desert.
Yes.
Water.
Yes.
And you run there and there's nothing. Or a rainbow, even a rainbow in our countries. The mind is an artificial entity. This is something every psychologist would acknowledge. It's fabricated. It's not absolute. But it functions with the light of, and that makes it difficult, because everyone says I, but does not really know what he means. See, we say I to a body. The body is born and it dies. We say I to a certain character and images. And if I again quote the Bible, the first commandment is you should not make an image. What does it mean? If truth were image, doesn't matter what image, it would be limited. And what use is a limited God? That is why Ramana used to say, instead of remaining in a dualistic devotion, come and become God. Now, this expression, killing the mind, is not fortunate. It's an old language. And what happened when the young Ramana had this experience when he was 16 in 1896? He was sitting and doing his homework, and suddenly it struck like a lightning, I must die. And his maturity was that he did not panic. He did not run for help. But he said, I must meet this. This is so definite now. And I cannot evade, I cannot escape. So he was lying down on the floor in his Indian room in Madurai and said, let me see what happens. Then he went into this witnessing mode, see? He was just observing what happens. He was not fearfully reacting. He was not trying to escape. And then he experienced something profound, that this, what he thought to be, this body, this person, he was moving away. Like today we would say he had a near-death experience. The beauty was that this space which he entered, I call it space now, no term will really do justice, stayed with him. It stayed, and you could feel it. You can feel it even now when you sit in his little hall there in Tiruvannamalai or look at a picture of him. So, killing the ego, who would do that? See, only someone, another agent would kill the ego. This is a nonsense. This kind of wording doesn't help people, and it may even make people afraid. This is not true. See, we die, so to speak, every night. When we lie down and sleep, we enter the little brother of death. It's sometimes called this sleep, and everyone wants to sleep. So it's a great misunderstanding to be afraid to re-enter our true nature, which is whole. You know, the story of the paradise symbolizes the wholeness. And eviction of Adam and Eve symbolized the original sin. That means sin means separation. I'm separated from truth, and this can only happen mentally. So if I can find the way out, it means I can regain this original beauty and eternity. We are always in God. See, simply said, if God is omnipresent, where is he not? Only our mind can work this miracle to push God aside and begin to search him. So this is theoretical, but all spiritual practice, all sadhana, has the purpose of making this a living reality, not a nice theory. That would not really satisfy the yearning of our heart. It's a thing everyone can experience when he regains the qualifications. That means we have to learn to work with this restless mind, with this greedy mind, and find what I called the trunk. That is the I thought. No one comes to the Father except through this trunk of the I thought. So, what gives me the qualification to remain in the sense of I? There may be many different people and many different ways of attaining that quality of silence and wakefulness, restful alertness. But in the end, it will be only the oneness of what you call the witness, of this pure I amness, being interested in its own nature, not in anything else which would be a thought. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. So if someone comes to you and asks you, what is the process of self-inquiry, what would be your answer?
The answer depends on the person. It's nothing we can put in a simple concept. Self-inquiry is difficult because it's so easy. It sounds paradoxical, and it is. See, we are, when we now, even now, without any meditation or preparation, are interested to be everyone can have a little sense of this beingness. And that is the self we are looking for. It's nothing strange, it's nothing extreme. But on the other hand, every one of us has some identification with a person, with a mind, with past and future. But it's very obvious, nothing esoteric about it. So that means the self-inquiry is moving back towards this sense of beingness. Ramana said sentences like this: be, and the ignorance is finished. He was always very absolute in his expressions. If that were so easy, the whole world would be self-realized. It is easy, but we also have to see the difficult side. See, a good example is when I want to play an instrument. Everyone can learn to play guitar with 3 chords. You can accompany many songs. But if you want to play Bach or any good music, you have to work hard for it. And the good musicians, they work for hours every day. And if you watch them, it looks so easy, so light, without any effort. But they work for it. So we have to take both aspects into account. If we say it's easy, yes, it's easy, but it's also very difficult, because we are full of anger, we are full of desire, we are full of fear, or name it what you want. That is the task, surrender of the person, and finding this, what I call the trunk, that is the witness consciousness, or the I amness, and bringing all energies there. That is a lifelong work. It's nothing you can buy around the corner. It's not just a trick for a weekend. It's something we have to dedicate our love and our heart. And this is what not many people want. See, if someone is suffering, and my past started with a deep crisis, I mentioned it before, I see it as a blessing today, because it made me aware that there is something to look after which is really worth it. So everyone has to ask himself, what really want? The booklet you posted of Ramana begins with this thought: everyone is looking for joy in his life. Why? Because intuitively everyone knows that our heart is joy itself, not even joy is bliss. At the same time, we are full of antagonistic factors that drive us in all kinds of directions. So again, we have both sides. In order to find this inner treasure, we have to be mature for it. And the beauty is, everyone can begin where he is. See, Ramana never said everyone should do self-inquiry in the sense of who am I, who am I. He would always, even if a little farmer, a simple person came to him and said, Bhagwan, tell me how to progress. He would always say, please, what have you done so far? He never, would put his concept on him. He would always, out of his love for every devotee coming, he would say, tell me, what have you done so far? Then, since it's my gardener, he's doing puja on a tree every day. And if he would come to Ramana, Rama would say, continue. And do this with more faith and with more love, and stay with that name. It's Ganapati in the example of my gardener. Ganapati is the most common deity in Tiruvannamalai, the son of Shiva. And he would say, repeat the name and stay with that name, and trust yourself and the instrument. So this is the beauty of a great gift. He would not be dogmatic. Dogma is fine, but Ramana was full of love, and he was the answer himself. So if he would tell you, repeat Ganapati, the love given to accomplish that. Mm-hmm. If you would ask him, I don't have any faith in any deity, then he would sometimes say, repeat the most precious mantra there is, that is I. If you can stay with that, even this name, I itself is a name, isn't it? Even this name will bring you to what it signifies, and that is self-inquiry. So everyone is longing for this inner treasure, but it's nothing we can just, get some in a weekend or so. We have to qualify. And the qualification is your mind must be silent and it must be subtle. Then the self-inquiry becomes very natural.
Yeah.